Welcome to the Connecting Cookeville podcast, where we spotlight business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and local influencers. It's our hope that this podcast enables you to feel the pulse of what makes our community great.
Hey, Cookeville, it's good to have you back. Thanks for joining us on the Connecting Cookeville podcast this week. I am your host, Amber Flynn Jared, and this is episode 35. As always, joining me is my very favorite co-host, Zach Buckner.
Very
Hey,
favorite?
Zach,
That
my
wasn't
very
funny,
favorite.
was it?
It's funny, yeah, because our guest today
Okay.
is my very favorite
Son. Okay.
See, that was punny.
I don't feel like that's a pun.
It
You?
is.
I feel like it's more of a shot at both of us because I only have one co-host and one son.
Thank you, Jaden. That's sort of. I wasn't going to say that.
You're both my favorites.
Well, thank you though. I appreciate
So-
that. I'm
You're
glad
actually
to be your favorite.
You're actually the best
host
podcast co-host I've
that
ever
you've
had.
ever had.
Yeah.
I don't know. D Prince kind of said he was a co-host. Does that count?
Oh, in that case, you're my second favorite.
Okay, cool. Thanks, D. Appreciate it, bro.
That's awesome.
I am D's favorite Zach Buckner though. So.
Yeah, this is true.
So anyway, Jaden Flynn is on the show.
Jaden Flynn.
Do you know him? Have you met this guy?
Yeah, we go back.
Time or two?
We go back.
Hey, okay. Can I? Jaden, we'll let you talk in a minute. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
well, it's like I don't know what to
you're
do
a
with my
guest. It's
hands.
fine. Yeah. It was a great race today. Car was fast. I don't know what to do with my hands. Okay, so can I give my first impression?
Yes.
Jaden, we're going to do this. You usually do your first impression. I'm doing mine. So my first impression of this little fella that's now could crush me like a small ant. A center for ants. I saw Jaden. He was a wee little guy, and he was learning to play drums. This is when I met you. You were just a little fella.
Yeah,
And you were
playing for church. Yeah, back in the
playing
day.
drums back in the day. I don't know. You're probably in 7th grade or something.
Yeah, that's about when
It was really intense.
Yeah.
started like right before then. Yeah,
So anyway, that's when I met your offspring.
My
there.
offspring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm actually back playing in a band again.
Are you for real?
Yeah,
Get out of here. Drums.
Sleep Nation. Yeah, for
Drums.
Brand Merritt. Shout out band. We can drop that. Sleep Nation.
Hello.
Yep.
The sound effects too.
And
Yeah,
make
playing
that
drums.
happen.
Playing drums.
That's incredible. Way to go. Drummers
Can't do
are the
anything
best.
else.
They're the best member of the band. I mean,
Yeah.
there is no band without a drummer, right?
No, got to thump it up.
Thumb it up. Okay,
Drums
but
are very
That was my
impressive
first.
to
Yeah. Wait,
They
I'm
are.
sorry. What?
Drums are very impressive.
Okay, that's shit art. That's for
Also
second, so-
art.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Drums is the-
violently just hitting.
Drums is the form
Things.
of art.
You know, it really is. It
But
really is
all
impressive.
4 of your extremities are doing something different.
independently.
And if all
Kind of like my real life.
That is true. It
very
is a lot like
similar.
your real life, which we're going to go into in just a minute. We're going
Yes,
to go into
we
that
are.
in just a minute.
This is the first time I think that we have had a family member
I believe it is.
on the show, and Jaden is also the youngest guest
He is the youngest
that we've
guest.
ever had on the show.
Jaden, how old are you now?
22. I'll be 23.
22.
I'll be 23.
I was
in
thinking you're like 25 now at this point.
like a month.
So
I think somewhere in there.
that's incredible. So, well, congratulations for
Appreciate that.
all the things. And I'll tell you too, because this one over here is probably gonna get all verklempt, like when we're trying to talk about how proud we are of you. But man, you are kind of like the picture of what young entrepreneurship looks like. And so, just more awesomeness in Cookeville. We've talked over and over again about how our community has such an entrepreneurial bent, and that folks are, just incredibly supportive of
Yes.
young
And
entrepreneurs.
that actually trickles down farther than people realize. Too,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're 22, and you
Right.
you have multiple business ventures going on right now. So,
Yeah, but I always try to keep a couple irons in the fire. I kind of.
no pun intended.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just like whenever the Iron Kitchen started kind of growing, it was just I became the Iron Kitchen guy, the Iron Kitchen guy, the Iron Kitchen guy, and you always felt like if I ever messed anything up or did anything, I kind of cut myself. So I was like, I'm gonna start some other things in case.
Yeah, diversify.
Yeah. So.
Diversify that portfolio.
Yeah. When did you catch the bug for entrepreneurship? Was it because you lived with this one, or what's the deal there?
Man, I came out the womb selling.
It's a true story.
Yeah, like one of my first memories is I actually used to stand my sister outside of a lemonade stand that I had and made her suck her thumb on the side of the road. And people would come in and see, yeah. And then I remember, I was thinking about this the other day. My dad actually sat me down and showed me how to build a full model from cups to sugar to packets. At one point, I had 2 lemonade stands.
You had a marketing plan. It was a whole thing.
And
And a
then we're
franchise.
flipping,
It's franchising.
Yeah.
You're franchising.
right? Then we're flipping skateboards and iPods and TVs and just kind of worked our way up from there.
So my favorite,
That's
kind of like
amazing.
last week's guest, McD, on episode 34.
Which, by the
said-
way, I'm still recovering from that steak.
Jaden,
Like,
what did
I'm-
you bring us?
Where's the steak, bud?
I'm still
Man.
recovering from McD's steak too. Like
You got to
I
eat
don't
some
serve
steak.
steak.
That
was steak.
That's
No. Basically,
Mind blown.
my steaks from
taste
this
buds
point,
blown.
like prior to having that steak, my steaks I think were maybe some sort of subpar hamburger meat. I don't know.
Yeah, like
It was incredible.
Some other animal. But
I'm still recovering.
One of
But
the
anyway, you were
stories that he
saying? Sorry.
told, back to me,
Memories.
was his parents, when he wanted to buy a motorcycle, his parents
Yes.
said, go earn the money.
Absolutely.
And he got a paper route.
Yes.
So Jaden came to us, connected to your first memory,
Uh-huh.
said he wanted a drum set. Well, he did not want the drum set from
No,
Walmart
he wanted a
that
legit
was,
one.
Yeah, he wanted it was
As
like
he should.
it was like a $600 or $700 drum set, right?
Yeah, I spent $800 at Guitar Center at the time.
Yeah.
I believe
So-
we even had a conversation about it when you were considering buying. a
Yeah,
drum kit.
probably helped
I
me
do.
know what to
Yeah.
do, and Michael Gibby was a big help in that.
Mhm.
And so I
Shout out
said, figured out. He and his dad were like, I don't know, well, we don't have $700 to pay for this. So he went on a rampage. At that time,
Rampage.
the Wii was
Oh, the Wii was just the hot new
yes.
Yeah,
commodity.
Nintendo Wii's were popping, and there was
Yeah.
some type of shortage like in our area. So I would just I found this like wholesaler on eBay, and I would, dude,
Yes.
I
What?
still
And you
I
were-
lost the contacts the other day. I still have 10 people in my phone that are Wii 1, Wii 2, Wii 3, Wii 4. That just I had them on. People still call the Iron Kitchen today asking if it's a video game store. Yeah,
And
I
you were what,
made-
12, 13?
Yeah, 13, made $800 in a week or a month.
That is
flipping-
incredible.
Flipping Wii's.
Yeah.
We almost got suspended from school for selling Halloween candy. And like,
Yeah, that was probably second grade. That was
Yeah.
my
Second grade.
Yeah.
my first introduction and my real thought of, okay, this cat, he's definitely
something
got the
going on.
entrepreneurial spirit. And I didn't even really know what it was back
Right.
then. I was a stay-at-home mom. I mean, I'm not really in the business world, so to speak,
Right.
at that point. And I got a call from the principal of Capshaw Elementary, saying, which was not anything out of the ordinary. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, because of Jenna.
So,
Yeah,
right.
I mean-
Every year, all you mamas and daddies out there of the strong-willed ones, let me tell you, don't pinch their heads off before you can see them achieve greatness, just because they are a little bit more hard-headed than you might think.
Or challenging.
So
Yeah.
every year we would get a call from the teacher, the principal's office. So this time she says, I'm going to need to talk to you. Jaden has brought in all of his Halloween candy and is reselling it at the school. And I was like, yeah, really?
She
That's
mad
great.
because he wasn't charging tax or what? What's wrong with that?
Apparently it was against the rules. I didn't know.
Why?
I don't know. I have no idea. I did not know it was such a thing. But I knew
But apparently
then,
it was.
he definitely had a gift. So.
Yeah. So at that point, were you, for all the moms of potential entrepreneurs out there, so when you realized that, did you kind of think from that moment forward, like, okay, I need to like shift my, take my discipline hat off and kind of shift to my encouragement hat, or like, what was your...
Well, Jason
Is
and
it
I
case by
would
case?
kind of play the good cop, bad cop
Right.
role, at different times. But, when you got one that's turned like Jaden, and this is a little different, like he's not in the room and we're talking about him.
Right.
It presents its own, challenges. Is that the Lion King?
no, I still don't know what to do with my hands.
Still, yeah, he's just sitting here.
It is. You really do have to find a different way to parent, because what is in all the books just doesn't really work. It
Right.
sounds good. I was reading that Strong-Willed Child by Dr. Dobson.
Right, yeah.
When he was 2 years old, he took it and hid it, because he knew when Mommy reads this book, I get more spankings.
It's incredible.
So yeah,
Again,
this
smart.
This is
Yeah.
what we have.
It's like, I don't know, Mommy, it fell in the fire. I'm not sure.
It's like, well, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So this would be hard for me to interview, because I know all the answers to these questions. But
Well, then, I'll
we're
I'll
here
try to step in.
for you to tell your story,
Right.
And about your Cookeville connection and how you got here.
Yeah, how did you get here?
Moved here when I was 2, I think.
2.
Yeah,
Okay.
grew
2
up
and a
in
half.
some raunchy apartments for a while.
Yes.
Kind of had a normal life till I was turned like extremely rebellious because it didn't really feel like I fit in doing normal people things like school or breathing and liking stuff that everybody's supposed to like that I don't, and just repeatedly failing things after failing things, and just it kind of took me a little bit longer than I realized to actually like find like myself and like who I actually think like I am as a person.
Sure.
If you can say that you know that at 22, you're a lot
Yeah,
further
that's a good
along
point.
than a lot of people I know. Yeah.
What kind of brought you to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Dude, I was just so sick of like working for somebody. Man, I sold cars for like 2 years, and I was pacing like $120,000 a year. Like when I left at like 19 years old, man, and I couldn't get out of bed and sell cars for 6 hours anymore a day. Like I was leaving whenever I wanted to. The owner was paying me money just to show up and just pump all the dudes. I mean, it was wild, and I just said I wasn't gonna make anyone else's dream happen.
Right.
And then and bounce from there.
Yeah.
I actually, when I left the car business, when I really got started in the Iron Kitchen, I transitioned to Cookeville Fitness Center.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was like managing up there and personal training because I've always been into fitness and doing all that stuff. And, that was kind of like the median of you're kind of getting to step into entrepreneurship a little bit, but still not really.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, this totally sucks too. So I had like $400 left to my name. I wake up one morning, boom, electricity gets cut off. I've been miserable, like just stupid miserable at this point. I'm bawling on the couch. I get a Gary Vee video from Mom, get
Thanks,
super
Mom.
amped, spend every dollar I have on groceries. Always love to cook. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna see if I can do something. Went out, bought it all, cooked it all, put it in these little Ziploc bags, and just started hitting the town.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
will you try
remember
this?
when you started.
Hey, will you try this?
Yeah.
Hey, will you try this? And enough of that, man. And it's like, that's really kind of how I got started. Yeah, it was like on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and we started that cook Friday, and haven't stopped since.
Wow.
That first cook was 28 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all I
cooked
know
for
is
28
it was
hours
really
straight, yeah.
loud in
Wow.
my house while I was trying
But
to
to
sleep.
answer your question, it's like that's how, man. It's like I kind of made the realization. I was like, I can't do something for someone else for an hour.
Yeah, and so
But
the
I
Iron
can go-
Kitchen was
yeah.
born.
And then it was born. Yeah, and I had dabbled in some meal prep stuff like here and there, but like before that, so I kind of knew what was there. I always knew there were good margins in food. I learned how to cook. I learned how to cook an omelet when I was 5 in Destin on a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like that day, I said I was going to own a restaurant. It's like people forget I've been cooking for 18 years. Like there's been a lot. So it's kind of hard to just boom come out with hey, this is a story of the Iron Kitchen. I've tried to write the book like 4 times. I just can't. There's too much that's gone on. Like, just 18 of my friends have been put on payroll through this thing. I got 4 of them.
That's
left.
incredible.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know how we're still here.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be honest.
Which I think is what a lot of entrepreneurs would say.
Yeah.
Well, and the reality is too, a lot of entrepreneurs cannot say we're still here with the fail rate of an entrepreneur.
All of them.
Exactly. Every good entrepreneur has failed. Multiple times, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fail forward though. You
Fail
fail
forward.
forward, and
That is the goal.
and like you even. I mean, I remember, gosh, when you were probably when did you start like the Let's Go thing? I mean, it's like 18, 19 years old.
I was going to bring that up too. So I was like 17 or 18.
17 or 18. Yeah, I remember you started.
Yeah, and I knew like I wanted to have like an apparel company because I've always loved clothing and stuff. So
Obviously, like look at you.
Yeah, so I just start this little BS like just motivational stuff, and like, I mean, it was terrible. It was absolutely awful. Like the shirts were garbage, and we still sold a couple racks worth. And it was just, and it's like the people that like don't like me, for obvious reasons. Like it's so funny that they like use that to like try to talk about a fair, and it's like, dude, like one, about it. Like 2, like
So you have something to talk
I was
about.
selling shirts, bro. Like, okay.
You're still working for your uncle.
And I know they suck. So like, cool. You suck.
Right. Well, I had a similar experience when I first started roasting coffee. Like, I mean, some of the first stuff I put out, like when I first started doing dark roast, I was just burning the crap out of coffee beans. It was horrible. And I have customers that still are somehow my customers. And they were like, yeah, we remember the first days of the dark roast. It was a little dark. So I was like, but not, it's not much darker than Starbucks. But same deal. It's like they stick with you, and
Because of who you
it makes you
are.
more
Right.
thankful.
The relationship.
It makes you even more thankful for those relationships because it's like, I know you believed in me even when my product was not that great. And now when it is, you
and
appreciate
we're in our
it.
second commercial kitchen now. Our first,
And it's huge, right?
It is huge.
Yeah.
Like our first kitchen, we could probably fit like 9 of them.
No,
in our next
no.
kitchen.
Can we talk about your first kitchen?
Oh, the first kitchen was probably in your house, right?
You
So-
were the first kitchen,
But the first cook was in my kitchen.
and then it went to my
all
house.
night long. Well, really for over a day.
Yeah,
Literally
we
28
tried it
hours.
for like 2 weeks.
We tried for 2 weeks here.
Outgrew that. Mom was
Yeah.
like, "Get out of the house."
I want my life
Shot to
back.
my kitchen. My oven goes out.
Oh,
Started
boy.
cooking in my friend's girlfriend's kitchen.
Your friend's
In her
girlfriend's
apartment.
kitchen in her apartment.
Yep. Then go
This
to my
is
grandma's
great.
kitchen.
I hope the health department's not listening to any of this.
Yeah, right.
Our good
Yeah.
friends at the health
Yeah,
department.
yeah, we love you,
It's
Harold.
fine. It's fine.
Harold.
I think his name's Harold.
It's not Harold. I think it's Joel.
Yeah, right. So, get linked up with some business partners, cooking in their kitchen, wakes up one day, tells me I'm an idiot, dude bounces. We land up in this other commercial kitchen. Dude, it's like, probably like right under 600 square foot. Like,
600 square feet, okay.
ain't nothing in there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it was like, when we get our orders coming in on like Friday to cook for the whole weekend, I would sell, like I had no website. I was all through just social
Facebook,
media
right? Yeah.
and texting and Snapchat and
Yeah.
everything. And I would sit there for like
I want
six
to come back to that.
6 hours, like every Friday night, and just texting everybody in my phone. I got
Do you
like
want
I got
food?
a
Do you want
contact
food?
list of
Do
like
you want
over like
food?
4,000 people now on my phone. Yeah, and it's like, half of them are like, yeah, give me this, and this, and the other half, or who is this, or your food sucks, or like,
Who
are you,
dis?
are you really still trying to text me?
You
like,
up?
LOL,
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to sling the food.
Yeah.
So, and every Friday I'd sit there and just sell, and then as soon as the spreadsheet was done, we started cooking as long as we could, and we'd probably start sleep at like 10 a.m. on Saturday, get like 4 hours of sleep, hit it again till 10 a.m. on Sunday, and we can't afford like fans. Like we had a meat thermometer that Michael McDermott actually gave us, actually died because it was sitting on the counter and it was over 120 degrees at all times.
Wow.
Yeah, just completely blew that out. Like, yeah,
was comfortable. It was real
and
comfortable
like
in
every
there.
time somebody come pick up their food, we're in like the window, just like
Sweating.
ringing. Like I could wring out my pants after every, and they were still there every week. man.
Yeah.
every week.
Faithful. Yeah,
and
supporting
It's
you.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and I think I would get the phone calls. I get all of the phone calls. And see, this is another point, moms and dads. When you persevere with those kids, they don't go away. Like Jaden, still at 22 years old, calls me
Yeah.
every day, like probably 5 times a day.
Mostly wanting to off myself.
Yeah. And so I would get the phone calls of, oh my God, this is it. We're closing the doors. We're
It's over.
done.
Yeah.
I'm texting these people, Mom, and they're saying no. And how do I deal with this rejection? Like, they're not rejecting you. They just not hungry. Like, it's okay. Or they don't
Yeah.
want your food, but there's
But it
how
feels like
many
that
other-
with every.
So,
yeah.
how do you deal with those no, and keep pushing? Because that's hard. And I think that's what shuts most entrepreneurs down is they can't handle the no.
I like it.
Yeah.
At this
you
point.
would.
Let the hate motivate, right? It's like,
It sounds so corny and lame, but like,
Yeah.
Like, one, there's nothing that feels better than sticking it to somebody that just talked all this stuff. I mean, that was like, I come from graduating from an alternative school, and you ain't gonna be this.
You're not competitive
You ain't
at
gonna
all,
be
are
that. Nah. I ain't competing in nothing I can't think I can blow
Dominate.
the
doors off.
roof
Yeah.
off. Yeah, you ain't ever gonna hear me talk about some other things.
That's really
God,
descriptive,
it's hard
Jaden.
to censor myself.
You're doing,
You're doing
really
a
good
great job.
Let the record show.
This is really great.
You're doing a great job.
We just want
haven't
Jaden
had
to know how
bleep out
proud.
anything so far. This is awesome.
It's a miracle.
Very,
It's
very
amazing.
impressed. Yeah.
So amazing. So
Where-
much
where we
self-control
at?
right now.
We were talking about
rejection.
the no's.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
think I took on the go for no mentality a long time ago. There's that dude that wrote
Yeah.
that book, forgot it. Almost, a lot of people know what it is. It's like if you're relating to sales calls or getting a woman's number or any of that type of thing, it's like you go for no. And it's
Yeah.
like no matter how many calls you make, you got to get 10 no's. You get 10 yeses in a row, it's like you still got to get 10 no's. And it's just like, if that's what you're always going for, it's like, yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Almost done making these calls.
There's no other way. There's no other way to deal with it, or
Yeah. You just get depressed. Yeah.
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 Quit. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. If you don't love everyone that hates you, you're gonna quit.
So, okay. And you listen to a lot of Gary Vee, which we love Gary Vee, obviously.
We do
Someone
love Gary Vee.
in the room.
Wish I was
recently
his
went to-
child.
Wow. You kind of are,
Gee.
actually. You kind of are.
Thanks.
In
I
a
mean, we look
legitimate
alike.
way. Yeah. Yeah, well,
Not
you
so
you kind
much.
of not. No, you don't look like a small Russian guy, but is it Polish Russian?
No,
I don't
he's
know.
Russian.
Russian.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't wrong. Anyway, but we do too, of course, and so we encourage our listeners to check out Gary Vee. Just make sure your kids aren't
Make
around.
sure your children are
or
listening.
make sure that you're spiritually
Earmuffs.
where you might want to be.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but like no, he's amazing, and that's part of his deal. Is like no one affects your future. Basically, his take on life is nobody affects your future but you.
Right.
You decide what you're going to do, and you go do it.
Right.
And just because people tell you no doesn't mean you're not doing what you set out to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of people like especially like when they look up to somebody, it's like the words that they say hold so much. It's like even like when I got a like business idea, and it's like even when I feel like mom don't believe, like it just I want to do it harder. It's like you got to be wrong then. Like if you're not with me, you're gonna be wrong. Like I'm not gonna be wrong. Like
His whole life. His whole life.
so
That's how he
yeah,
said his whole
and
life.
people like Vaynerchuk that can play that intuition card, like those are the killers.
Yeah.
Well, and
there
I
we
would
are.
say that's probably, if I had to pinpoint like your number one gifting, it'd be intuition is going to be right up
Yeah,
there.
and having like that intuitive style like creates a lot of like false like talents that I don't really have. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I can put a post out on Instagram, and within like the reaction within like 30 seconds, I know what needs to be adjusted for the next post.
Right.
Or I know what somebody's gonna like do before they do it, and that's my only play. It just so
Yeah.
happens in business, like that's like
A big one.
the ace.
Yeah. So a question I wanted to ask you, like from the second I found out you were going to be on the podcast, was this. Like a lot of times, so the entrepreneurs we've had on the show so far have been either our age or a little bit older than us or whatever. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what advice would you give an entrepreneur that's older than you?
Older than me?
Yeah.
You got hella time.
Yeah, you got
All the
lots of time. Yeah, and we kind of said that on the last episode with Grill Master. We said, go. You're never too old to pursue your dream.
Right. People a lot of times I think get my speed and level of patience severely confused.
Yeah.
It's like you've got to have everything now. You're inconsistent with this, that, and it's like, no, I'm actually playing a 15-year game here, but I don't know if I'm gonna wake up tomorrow.
Right.
So I'm gonna definitely outwork your face on.
I
know what I
can
mean?
relate. Yeah, I do have a
Yeah.
feeling of what you're talking about. Yeah.
But for
Sort of
anybody
operating
that
a little bit.
is older than me, if you're 80, like you probably still got a smartphone. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Go do something.
You can do something. Yeah.
Right.
Document your 80-year-old life. Like,
I think that would be awesome. I would watch
How
that.
cool
we
is
need
that?
more cool 80-year-old people doing shit.
That is true. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. I love it. Hey, me and Ethel.
Gladys
Gladys.
live.
That'd be hilarious.
It would be.
Facebook Watch Gladys.
Yeah, like people,
Yeah.
like I'm just.
People
Margaret.
I love Gary Vee so much, man, because he's always just talking about documenting over creating. When
Right,
people want to do things like this and what you guys have going on, like they want to try to add too much to their life and to their schedule and do things and make these promises and stuff that aren't practical.
Right.
Rather than just putting these pieces of technology with you when you're doing your thing.
Right.
And creating something around that.
Yeah. Create synergy around what's already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
like,
don't overthink it.
You
Yeah.
see a celebrity walk in the gas station, buy a bag of chips, like it's like the happiest moment of your life. Just get a bag of chips, like people like that for whatever reason.
It is so true. So true.
Talk about this something really, really cool that you do that I completely suck at and that I want to get better at. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs out there are like scared to touch Snapchat. Like they don't go after Snapchat from the entrepreneurial side.
For all
but
of
the
you who think
reality
Snapchat's
is,
going to die, I think everyone's severely wrong.
yeah.
I think they have some
Going on the
stuff that
record?
they're, like...
Well, I mean, and you're not the only. I mean, that's the talk is that Snapchat will eventually. I mean, Snapchat can just eclipse all of their socials, and it will eventually become the go-to.
Dude, because
What's your thought on that?
it's safer, like text message wise, because ain't nothing getting saved. Like it's quicker, it's more accessible, and now they're people don't like when they made their algorithm switch and did all this stuff, but they did that to Instagram a couple months ago, and everyone's already forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with the Snap is the way the reason why that works so well is because all of it's uncut, it's all raw, it's
Right.
real life. It's like if you can capture yourself messing something up on Snapchat, you
Right.
did a good job. It's like, oh, I'm so glad we caught that on Snapchat. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
it's so
it's
true.
just it's like the rawest form of content that
Right.
there is. So I've been pushing that super heavy. But since they did change some stuff around, there's a lot of the same kind of attention on Instagram stories.
Yeah.
So I would definitely advise
I have noticed
to put it both places because it's the same but different.
Story not feed though.
Well, not too long ago, he told me, he was like, you need to be putting more stuff in your Instagram. So Jaden's like my go-to media person. It just so happens that I've got him on speed dial.
We actually run a digital marketing company called Elevate Media. There's some more stuff being thrown around.
All right.
We got some pretty big promo stuff coming up pretty soon. So.
Okay.
Peep Elevate Media.
Yeah.
Peep it.
There you go. Peep that. Peep there.
Also, and so with that, I mean, he just has a knack, and I don't know if it's because that younger generation that's just grown up with it.
I've been trying to talk to just girls on social media for a long time. I think that's
how we learned it.
Yeah.
But that mixed with the intuition to know what to do, and so I have noticed, like, all of a sudden my Instagram stories are getting 100 and something views, and my Snapchat views had gone way down, which I don't do Snapchat near as well. I mean, Jaden's definitely by far the king of Snapchat. But your Insta is pretty fire, where like mine is more like Facebook. So for those of you listening, like there's different platforms that work better for different people's kind of.
And if you're sharing all the same thing to all your platforms, you suck.
Talk about that. People don't understand that.
So like
I know I didn't. I was
it's
guilty.
Definitely preaching the context over content. One, because the quality of your content is always going to be subjective to your audience. If you were sitting there roasting it up in your basement, roasting out of your dark, and it just thinks the best thing ever, and it just tastes burnt to the world, or you could think it's terrible and everyone loves it. Right. You never know, So I'm always it's quantity over quality in that aspect. Well, they're just putting out a bunch of garbage,
Right. Sure.
But as far as context over content, man, it's like there's all these different platforms are created for a reason. Sure. Like you're in a different subconscious mode. Like when you hit all of them, it's like when you're Facebook, you're looking for your news. When on your Instagram, you're seeing what's going on in the world and the pictures and how they're documented. On Pinterest, it's straight crafty. How do I do this? And that. Like Snapchat, what's going on right now? This and that. Yeah, and you got to think, man. Like whether people like it or not, we're stepping into a digital marketing world. So now everybody is fighting for everybody's attention, the same attention at the same spot. And in my opinion, like you got to honor that. Yeah. Or your page gets left behind. Yeah. Or you get left behind. Yeah. And, you're just never big into wasting people's time. Sure. So try to make sure the content we put out is valuable, even if it's
if it's just funny.
Yeah, and even if it's me driving down the road, like I like the song. So
exactly. Yeah, and a lot of your stuff is just like,
or throwing this is a fun little snippet.
But I think there's something here that I think entrepreneurs and business owners, not entrepreneurs, whatever, anybody pretty much needs to pay attention to, and it's the fact that I think my theory is the reason that all these things are shifting this direction is people just want to see something real. They're tired of fake marketing. They don't want they want authenticity, and I think in a world where we don't always see that, that's why this works so well.
Companies don't create enough depth.
Yeah,
it's a problem. Everybody wants to go this way. Yeah, and it's like if you can do this and show that you've got personality, value, squad, like all at the same time. Right, like, dude. Yeah. Like, and we're set. Like this is the best time ever to do this. Ever. Like,
So that's really, really exciting. Well, I know I'm learning a lot. I feel like an old codger when I watch when I check out your Snap, because I'm just like, I should have done like 9 of those already, for Bros or whatever. But I'm like, that's brilliant. So it's like,
well, and that's what I love about the digital world is that it is a very easy way of what I call all the time R&D, rob, and development. I mean, that's really what it is. I watch and see what somebody else is doing, and I apply it to my business.
Term that
schnozzling or something.
Yes,
I don't know.
Go back and listen to the episode. It was amazing. We're still in that term. Yeah. So if only he were here to tell us.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. But listen to the episode, but it is, again, no new thing under the sun. What you've done has probably already been done in some way, but how can you do it better? How can you do more of it? How can you just inundate the market?
Just like I say it all the time, it's like we just don't believe in competition. Like there's I don't know anybody putting out as much posts as we do. Yeah. I don't know nobody Snapchatting as much as me. I don't know anybody that's documenting their late night stuff as much as we are. Right. I don't know anybody that grinds till 2:30 in the morning like our squad. Like you just have to put it in.
You can come to the Bro Street at 2:30 in the morning. Come on.
Like you got to put the
then you need to be documented.
You got to put it in their face.
Yeah, we're gonna partner.
You got to put it in their face. Like word of mouth is very, very, very hard to beat. Yeah. Like if I said, hey, like I read this off of whatever, or if I said, hey, I've learned this from a trusted person, like that's gonna go a lot farther And social media is just this awesome form of word of mouth on steroids.
Right. Right.
So, and it's like since I've started all these little side ventures, now it's like I've created like these little cross marketing tunnels when it's like, hey, follow my Facebook page, get a coffee mug, receive a free quesadilla. Hey, follow me on this page and receive 10% off this, and it just creates this little networking web of
You are forcing people to check your stuff out, which is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. There's a business kind of old school way of thinking of like never create another business. You know, all these folks out there that are creating business, never create another business that can't play off of your previous business or that they don't handshake in some way. And there's a fancy way to say it, and I don't remember what it is.
Model.
Yeah, hub and spoke. It's hub and spoke, but there's a way to say anyway. They build off one another, and that's what you've done. I mean, all of your businesses, all 28,000 of them.
I didn't realize we created like 3 businesses in one with the Iron Kitchen.
Yeah,
you know, it's like and I guess I just don't do a good enough job about being loud, but still people come to me all the time and not knowing, you know, that we actually have like a restaurant that runs Monday through Friday 11 to 4.
Right.
You know, and then there's a completely separate, different like menu and times to order food for the week for your family, package all this for people on the go.
So restaurant, meal prep.
And then we have a distribution program.
Okay.
You know, and we're selling meals out of, NutriShop.
Right.
They sell meals, then Absolute Fitness sells meals, and we just picked up our newest distributor, Upper Cumberland Mixed Martial Arts.
Okay, so
over by Moogie's and stuff,
So kind of a 3-pronged approach at that as well.
Right. Yeah, and it's like I don't believe in creating things to sell that you can't sell while you're sleeping. So
right.
That's why we created the online system.
Absolutely.
That way we can have ads running at all times.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, because that's the hard thing with food, and coffee's probably, very similar. Much different than my business, where people buy a house on average every 5 to 6 years.
Right.
I mean, you're having to get in there and really
recurring
grind,
income,
literally.
Yeah,
and,
like a lot of people also forget.
Food.
Like I started this business with no electricity in my house, and I was $4,600 in debt. So it's like we had to sell food.
Right.
Like, and that's I think that's another reason why most people fail is because like if you jump with one foot on the ledge, like, you better hang yourself. Like, like if like it's. I was talking to a guy one time, and we were talking about a business deal, and we were talking about how both of our companies kind of came about at one point. And at the end of the conversation, he just made a little comment. He said, "It's crazy what you do when you put yourself in that situation."
Right.
And it just kind of stuck with me. You know? It's like I had bills due in a week.
Absolutely.
Quit my job, wanted to start something. Okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
You better find a way to do that.
Right. I remember that moment. I mean, for me, I quit my full-time job with benefits to go do roast and sweetie pies.
Yeah.
And 5 kids. We have 5 kids, by the way. And health insurance and the whole thing.
Right.
And it's like, well, we better make this work.
We better win.
Let's figure this out.
Win.
But that's why we did.
Right.
Dave Ramsey talks about a lot of times he talks about the invisible axe head hanging over you. Always set a goal. Make sure that you've got some goal that you pretty much almost think you can't achieve.
Right.
And so he's like, have that invisible axe head and set a date. Make yourself do something by this date, because if you don't, you'll never accomplish that goal. It'll just be like, oh, maybe do it later.
And the window's smaller than people realize too. It's like even I get like at least like 2 to 3 solid business ideas a day, and if I don't get them down on paper, they're gone forever. And I'm not a believer in like writing down. Like I'm not. Like I got the worst ADD ever. I don't take notes. Like I met my idol, didn't take a note. Like no thanks. Like,
it's right there.
Yeah. Just but like if you don't really if you got an idea and you don't start within 24, 36, maybe even 2 hours, like ain't nothing happening.
Right.
And like your question earlier, it's like something for the older heads out there. It's like hire somebody that knows how to do this instead of trying to teach yourself new stuff. Like that's the biggest thing that I've learned in business is delegate to overtakes, kind of like my little,
and that's tough.
Yeah,
for most entrepreneurs, I think.
Delegate.
Yeah, because
delegation is one of the toughest things to do.
You start to get fancy with your product and your quality, and it's like nobody can do this, nobody can do that, and you want everything done yourself. Yeah. But it's just that's
you can't scale.
You can't scale at all.
Right.
No.
Yeah, there's a great book out there. Vern, I forget his last name, but he wrote a book called Scaling Up. And if you listen to it, you'll want to fall asleep and gouge your eyes out. But it is such good content, and it's about scaling up. It's about if you don't delegate, you're gonna die.
Yeah, I had my friend
Vern Harnish,
Kyler, and then I had a lady, Lori, Mama Iron. She's 55, was born in Paris, France. She just came in one day and brought a resume, and I was just like, crazy resume, like 20 years worth of work, catering company, French this, French that. And I was at a point in my business, I was working like 140 hours a week.
Yeah.
I just had my tumor cut out.
And you're physically
organs were failing.
Yeah.
I blew up my appendix almost.
Not in a good place.
It was going bad. Like, I was bedridden for like 20-something days, like mad depressed. Like, and the crazy thing is, like, I hadn't taken a day off until the day I got my appendix taken out.
Right.
Started my business, worked 10.5 months straight of like 18-hour days. Every day, boom, get put in the hospital. And I was like, all right, I either got to figure out how to make this thing run without me sometimes, or I'm shutting down.
Yeah,
like, because
it's a reality.
I was like, I got 4,000 contacts on my phone now. I'll start something else tomorrow.
Right.
And be fine. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No thanks.
Like
Yeah.
Tim Ferriss always says,
yeah.
you take away everything but my Rolodex, I can recreate my wealth. You take all my money, give me,
Right.
let me
Well,
keep my
Gary
Rolodex,
Vee says the same
my
thing. It's like
contacts.
there are people in this world who know how to make money,
Right.
and there are people in this world who don't know how to make money, and
Right.
they know how to go get a job
Right.
for someone else, and
Right.
that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And,
Right,
and
that's
it's
who
fine,
you are.
but when
Yeah, I would-
when
But
the
if that's
economy
not who
hits
you
extremely
are-
hard times and you are pigeonholed to one thing, like you better have the intuition and the ability to go make money.
Right,
nimble.
right, yeah. And so, you know, what I did is I made, Kyler my manager, I threw him a raise. I didn't really feel like I could pay that person. Hired this other lady, didn't know how that was going to work.
See,
Up
been there.
Johnny Gomez, that's my other dude. Who's got,
Shout out Johnny.
Yeah, shout out Johnny Gomez, Instagramless Johnny Gomez. He stays off the grid.
How is he still employed by you?
He actually
Gramless?
runs like 80% of the Iron Kitchen account.
Okay, there you go.
And he does a
All
great
right.
job.
He
just
does a
doesn't
killer
feel
job.
a
He's
need to
Gramless.
have to do
So
it.
that he's not really
He's
Gramless.
18 years old. He owns a portion of the kitchen. I'll just say it. Sorry about that. And dude is a marketing monster.
Just a
Like,
beast.
He's
18?
He's 18.
Yes.
He's 18.
But see, again though, going back to your previous piece of advice, it's like, don't try to. I mean, you need to try to constantly be learning, obviously, and speak the language as an owner, as an
Right.
entrepreneur. But like, if there's somebody that's brilliant at it, and that's something I've been saying, it's like I don't even want to touch it at this point. Like, find me a high schooler that understands the algorithm without understanding the algorithm.
Exactly.
So-
exactly.
I mean, those are just like, it's like how people are running, 20, 30, 40
Yeah.
companies at a time.
Yeah.
We just went to the conference
Good
where a
people,
lady
yeah.
had just started 22 businesses in the last 11 months. Like,
Yeah.
It's just having a team of
Yeah.
superheroes, man. Like,
right.
incredible.
Right.
So.
That is so cool, and but the thing that's cool about that too is that's a legacy deal.
Right.
I mean, it's like, oh, by the way, do you remember one of your 22 companies gave me my first job? One of your
Yes.
22 companies
Yeah, and
were
it's
the first
like-
ones to believe in me to be a manager or whatever.
And that's what's cool about businesses. It's like that's why I want to do it. It's not for the money. It's like
Yeah.
I don't make nothing now. I've been working for less than $2 an hour for like almost a year and a half.
But somebody else
Yeah, I paid
is making
$18,000 from the time I paid it in taxes from the time I turned 18 to 19. Like,
Yeah.
It's just been a complete
yeah,
flip flop.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, right.
Like, and it's like I was never one of those that was like fall in love with the process, or you gotta love the process. And like, dude, all I love is the process. Like, I don't like the end goal of it. When we got our second commercial kitchen, I was kind of bummed out that I wasn't having to deal with faulty equipment and breaking and all
because
this.
that's like what makes you tick, or is like what you
man.
yeah.
Like, and when we
The thrill of the
when we-
hunt.
when we start doing good, I'll just like totally slack off and push myself into a corner, and then just like grind face again, just for the challenge. It's weird, man.
Well, and you find these ebbs and flows in your business, and we've talked about this, over the last several months. But it's like you always know kind of when that's coming,
Yeah.
and then there's like this other, like your ability to, and I'll just say this because you're my kid, if people missed that connection earlier, but your ability to pivot is amazing. I mean, it is hands down probably one of the greatest that I've ever seen, and it's why you're still in business, is what I believe.
and it's like
You're so nimble and able to assess a situation and pivot to meet that need.
and it's all done through what you're able to gather through social media. I mean, people forget how much of people's lives they really put out there. Like, I
Right.
can figure out how many kids you got and their names and send you a card with your family,
Yeah.
your whole face on it, and your dog, and $10 whatever. Thanks from the Iron Kitchen. And you're gonna be like, oh my God,
This is
like
the best
they
thing
do
ever.
love me. Like, you got all that, and it's all free.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
that shit ain't gonna be monetized. Maybe not even ever.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
like, I just think there's a lot more resources that people aren't.
That's
pulling
good.
from. Or why don't you want to pay somebody to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
$10 an hour, like.
Well, and I have preached this, okay, so my big platform is Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, that is
and that's more your market. Yeah.
Should be everybody's biggest platform.
That's where I spend the majority of my time, and really am my crazy hot mess authentic self on there. Whether it's I'm up to my ears with work, and I've got clients going crazy, and things are falling apart, and I'm putting out fires, or if it's I'm on a date with my husband, or my dog has chewed up the blanket. I mean, whatever.
Or dumb cat.
Greg. Whatever kind of craziness is going on in my life, or hey, look, you know what? I'm having a bad day. I had my hater, that
you
was sending me
and
terrible, text messages. I throw that up there on Facebook, and all of a sudden this tribe, comes forth.
You,
that's like, oh no, we're not having that. This is terrible. You're awesome. We love you. And it's really just, I think there again, being your real authentic self on a daily basis. It's my journal that I happen to share with the world.
Right.
Well, through that, I joke with Jaden that I'm going to write this book called Relationships Equal Revenue. Yeah. And it's really just the continuation of a relationship that I have, with somebody that maybe I haven't, talked to in years, on a face-to-face conversation, but I see pictures of their kids and I comment on it, and it's their anniversary,
and then this relationship's
well,
open back up.
And then it's like today, one of my stepson's ex-girlfriends from years ago sends me a Facebook message that's like, hey, me and my husband are getting ready to look for a house. Would you be willing to work with us? I'm like,
that's building your personal brand,
and it just really, and it's just being my real self on my platform of choice.
Okay, so one of the things we do on the podcast is we always ask about your mentors, like who is currently mentoring you, who are you mentoring? We even say it's just as important to be a mentor as it is to have mentors. So
yeah, man. First, sometimes I go through this like I'd still you won't find business owner that entrepreneur this in any of my social media. Mm-hmm. Like I'd still don't feel comfortable really saying like, hey, I own a business, just because there's too much glamour, around the word, man. Like this life sucks. Mm-hmm. Bad. Like I've lost almost all my relationships. I got the smallest circle I've ever had. I've worked harder than I ever have and have less money than I ever had. Like at what point does that sound cool when I'm not in the Lamborghini? Like I am meeting people I don't know that still talk about me. So that means that's why Gary Vaynerchuk. When I first got started, Michael McD, that was on the last episode. He's probably played a bigger hand in any of the cooking than probably anybody. My small circle of friends and family, but I always say, man, if anyone else had my set of parents, I'd be working for them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every day, no matter what it was, even if they knew I was never gonna be able to do that ever. You got it. You can do it. You're gonna be the best at it. You're gonna be the best in the world. You can do this, this, and this without kicking me. Anything that they knew wasn't me, they knew it was just gonna phase out. Yeah. They didn't just, that's stupid. I don't want you to do that.
Just let you figure it out.
I want you to be something other than what you want. I never had to deal with that. You know. So I had a massive head start. Yeah. So. Yeah. But as far as me mentoring other people, man, now it's cool because I got all my friends coming out of the woodworks that are starting to do shit with their lives, and they're like, can you do this? Can you do that? Or hey, man, I need to start a business. Or hey, and it's like
leaning on you.
So just kind of some people I grew up with, and then actually a couple other companies I'm not going to disclose yet. We've been doing some marketing for and some stuff. And my number one sponsored athlete, Sutman Finch, Trevor Finch, Nutrishop Finch. We're starting to run some pretty cool stuff. Yeah. For him, he's got some really good promotional content coming out for what he's got going on in the bodybuilding world and fitness and stuff. And we got a whole lot of stuff about to break loose.
That's awesome. That's incredible. All right,
sure.
Tell us what have we left out? First of all, how can people get a hold of you?
I'm all verklempt.
Yeah, you're all. I knew you.
You can Snapchat at GCMcJ, Instagram at Huncho_J__. Facebook.com/The Iron Kitchen 931, Instagram.com/The Iron Kitchen 931, Elevate Media 931, Mean Mugs with Z 931.
I like it.
Any of those ways.
By the way, Mean Mugs, we're gonna do a breast mug, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Good. Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah. I'm stoked about that one.
Yeah,
That's going to be super
Let's
fun.
do it.
So we always wrap up our show by asking our esteemed guests, if you could go back in time and find young Jaden Flynn.
Sweet little baby Jaden.
Sweet little baby Jaden.
Go harder.
That's what you would tell.
Go harder. You should have left school earlier. You should have never even went to high school. You should have just started doing business.
Go harder.
Go harder.
That's always the answer.
Yeah, you get to do this one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And just
incredible.
imagine, 22.
And I know we got to stop, but I just want to say one thing real quick.
Sure.
I always get this question. It's like, how do you go about finding money? Or like, how do you go about getting a partner? This, like, if you just start acting out your ideas, like, people will come to you. Like,
Yeah.
if you got shit, like, people will come to
Yeah.
you. If you don't have anything and no one comes to you, you suck. So, like, you're
The
never
market
gonna
will
have
tell
anything
you.
anyway. Yeah.
The market is a wonderful teacher and
Yeah.
will
Yeah, that whole
go
numbers
ahead
don't lie
and judge
thing,
for
like
you.
that. Me in school never sat well because of that, but now I'm just kind of having to deal with that. Like,
Yeah.
In real
that's
life,
real
it
though.
makes
Yeah, like
sense.
if you just go and work, like any event, investor, anything
Right.
I've ever landed with anything, I've always been approached.
Right. Right.
You know, so
You never had to go find it. It found
no,
you.
like yeah. So if you work hard and grind on, like that stuff comes.
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, and kind of going, back to what I was saying about your, the authentic display
Yeah,
that's
be
there.
real.
I mean, that's just what you've done. I mean, bad words and all. I mean, it's just who you are. You're being who you are, your authentic self. And it
There's
just
gonna
so
be people
happens
that
it
like you
plays out.
always and people that don't like you always. So you better just market to the crowd that likes you, because Andy Frisell said it best. If you try to market on both sides,
you're gonna lose.
gonna
yeah.
make full and you're gonna lose all credibility.
Yeah.
So my family was the one who taught me to be real. So
Keep it real. Keep it real.
real.
Well, this has been super fun.
Well, yeah, I would say so. Are you moderately proud of this chat?
If I had buttons on the shirt, they would be popping off.
Yeah,
For sure. I couldn't have been more proud of him and just what he's doing. You've ever heard the saying? That my
I don't-
buttons are
Like you're
popping?
puffing your chest
Like
out.
you're puffing your chest out 'cause
She
you're
shouldn't
proud.
use
Yeah,
that.
that was just
It's
super
it's
weird.
dumb.
Okay,
If
so-
I would have said it, it would
been
have
cool.
made
Would've
sense.
been cool.
She said it. It was awkward. It's fine. It's
not-
fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
No, but I mean, Jaden's dad and I are so super proud of him and just always just
shout
going.
out Dad.
Shout out,
Shout out Dad.
Jason.
Yeah, I like how you did this, like instead of this. Shout out Dad. It's like, but
really,
yeah.
I mean, just going. I mean, and it hasn't been an easy route. It has the road has not been smooth.
No, we'll tell the real Iron Kitchen story one day. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. The circumstances that are there. It doesn't matter the hindrances that are there. If you'll persevere, if you'll push through, you'll continue to pursue your passion. You will find doors open for you. And at the end of the day, I mean, I'll just tell you, this town is full of incredible people, but I would put him up against any single one of the business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders. If you line them all up and you stuck at a crowd and you said you get to pick one to run your stuff, it'd be him every time.
Well,
Yeah,
cry breaths.
I'm gonna
Thank you,
cry
Mom.
on that one.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic,
Boom.
Mom.
So there you go.
I'll tell you too, buddy, you inspire me big time, and like you probably don't even realize it, but you do big time, and so I always
Just
love
wanna be you
our
and not grow up.
whatever.
Oh, with 5
Shoot, I
kids?
want to be you when I go down. Yeah, no, except for that part. So, but
That's
man,
good.
thank you for doing this.
Thanks,
Thanks for being on the
Jaden.
show.
Yeah, appreciate it,
you.
guys.
All right,
Yeah.
man.
Thanks for listening to the Connecting Cookeville podcast. Make sure that you jump online and check us out at connectingcookeville.com, or you can find us on Facebook. Also, make sure that you jump on iTunes or Stitcher and subscribe to get all of this awesomeness every single week. And while you're there, make sure that you leave us a 6-star review.
Zach, that's not actually a thing.
Your face is not a thing. But seriously, leave us a good review.
Thanks, Mom. It's our desire that this podcast will impact you to connect with your community. By sharing our stories, we encourage, empower, and propel those around us. Embrace your purpose, pursue your passion, and find your place to connect with Cookeville.
Later, Tater.
Peace out, Girl Scout. We are recording. It's fine.